Hello and welcome to GatherVerse News Unscripted, where we bring you humanity-centered tech journalism. I'm Lisa Bernard. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, my guest is Frank Chindamo. Frank founded the Virtual Reality Film School. He is a former professor at film schools such as USC, UCLA, Chapman, Emerson, Pepperdine, among others. He started his film and TV career at Saturday Night Live and on the film Ghostbusters. And he premiered the first ever web comedy series at the Sundance DigiDance Festival in 2001. Frank, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very, very much, Lisa Bernard. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. So first off, please tell me what led you to create the Virtual Reality Film School. And while you tell us, we're going to show a promotional video of some of the elements students would see at your school and also some of the international students who you've worked with. Tell me about your school.
Well, we founded it because we found that as a professor at schools like USC and UCLA, that the top and richest kids could get into those schools, but the bottom 98% were not able to do it or afford it or get in. So there was a marketplace for that. And the marketplace has only grown because if you think about it, according to Bloomberg, at least 91% of all young people want to or are creating content right now and want to do it for a living. So there is a marketplace for this. There are people who want to do it. And because we're the first Bachelor of Arts degree in this field of new media, we've created something that seems to work.
There's so much I want to dive into here. So talk to me about this international piece. As you said, you're opening it up to people who can't afford perhaps or physically with family move to LA. What are your projects abroad in these other places?
So right now, our premier partner is IBT College in Toronto, Canada. They are really working hard to be the Canadian end of virtual film school. Our other partners include Victory XR in the United States, and Victory XR already has created the virtual campuses or campi of over 100 universities right now. So we're the content provider for them. We're providing content for IBT College as well. And we're also in talks with a school on the island of Mauritius in Africa that's going to cover all of Africa. And we've got contracts in Japan and Vietnam and growing.
And what I think we're looking at in this video is already some pieces that were created, short TikTok type Instagram videos. That's a focus for you, isn't it? The shorter films.
Exactly. So the film schools try to train you to be a feature film director or a TV showrunner, and that's fantastic. But if you look at a school like Chapman University, for example, they've had about 25,000 graduates over the course of 40 years, and only 2 are working film directors. So those aren't the odds that I would play with my $350,000 in college tuition. Instead,
Right.
We're training you how to be a content creator for YouTube, for TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, the marketplace that's out there right now that so many people are getting into and making content for. So those little videos that you saw were our partnership with Beijing Film Academy, where our students created the first TikToks ever certified by the International Olympic Committee to promote the 2022 Olympics.
Well, that's amazing. And as you said in the pitch deck that I saw, you're estimating film school costs at $35,000 to $80,000 a year, and your school, if I'm not mistaken, you're saying is $12,000. Is that right?
That's about right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it really is, I guess, a way to bring more students in, and as you're saying, hopefully have more success on the other side than some of the traditional film schools.
Exactly. You know, our branding genius, Lynn Spire, says that our students can win the job race before they even graduate because you're creating content while you're in school that you're deploying. A large part of the courses that you take are in monetization, deployment, optimization for the web, how to create a small business that creating videos, things like that.
That is amazing. I think one of your statistics was something like 75% of young people say they'd like to be famous. This is a
Yes.
whole new generation, right? And a whole new outlook. So that's what you're, I guess, trying to get involved with.
Right, exactly.
So let's take a look at another promotional video. It's actually, I think, a demo of some classes you would offer. And let's talk on the other side so people can see what it would look like if they came to virtual reality film school.
All right. Hey.
Holder, Chief Technical Officer of Virtual Film School, and I'm a VR expert.
Today, I'd like to shoot a short story inspired by the film Gladiator. It's going to be a story about a prisoner who somehow becomes a hero. And I've created a lookbook to give you an idea of what I'm going for. And you will see on screen the Coliseum of EFS short. And on our next slide are the tones and the colors that I will be going for. And our visual inspiration is illustrated here, and you'll see the clip of Gladiator as well as visual art pieces.
Or we could also go to Mars. Who's been to Mars today?
But I'd really like to film here on the green screen stage and then take your Roman Colosseum environment, and then we can later composite it into our story during our visual effects course.
So I'll be the cinematographer here. John, let me get a camera in here so we can see our angles.
Yes, all you have to do is hit the camera on your virtual tablet like this.
Bam! So now what we're doing, we're going to learn about shots. This is called a two-shot. And if I were to step back, it would be called a wide shot. But here's a two-shot because there's two characters in this shot. Now all we need is a way for the hero to beat the tiger, and that would be the point where we pass it over to the students to figure out. In fact, Robin, where are you located right now?
New York City, Frank.
John, physically, where are you?
I'm in Camden, London, UK. It's cool here. Very cold.
Cool. I'm in Hollywood, and Lauren, where are you?
I'm in Aspen, Colorado.
By working through it here in this environment, our creators are able to step inside the scene in a way that would never have been possible in any film school before, in a setting that feels like we're all really here.
When it comes to production, you can shoot an animated version right here, or you could use it as a demo, or you could even use it as a previs for your real life version, because it's all captured in this recording.
Okay, so now I'd like for you to explain a little bit more. You had said that one professor can appear in up to 100 virtual classrooms.
That's right. Yeah, that's the technology at this point is growing towards that. I think it's 50 as of today, but when the Apple headset comes out, who knows what the limit is going to be. So a professor who's famous in their field and very well paid, which is different than what film schools have, where they're poorly paid and they were successful many years before they started teaching. So generally speaking, we're having somebody like Nikki Baber, for example. Nikki Baber is one of the top TikTokers. She earns a very nice living from the billions of views that she's gotten on TikTok. Or Freddie Wong, for example, a former student who out of film school launched a YouTube channel called Rocket Jump. And that was a series for television on Hulu. He created Dimension 404 for Hulu and 2 other series for Netflix, Video Game High School, and a spinoff. So those are the types of teachers that we have. And they will be lecturing to groups of students so that you'll always have a cohort. You'll always have somebody who you can look in the eyes of and become friendly with as you go from class to class. And then inside of the room with you as a tutor who can answer your questions in real time. So you always have that mentorship. This isn't AI. I know AI is very popular and we're using AI for some of what we do, but to train somebody, you need a real human being who can say, hey, you should hold the camera like this instead of like this, right?
Yes. And so
a human can do that right now.
So it seems to me there's two pieces to virtual reality film. One is teaching it in virtual reality, which I think is what we saw, where we're all over the world and they learn in virtual reality. The other piece, and I don't know if you're doing this, is creating virtual reality films, a 360-degree, fully immersive experience. Are you teaching that as well?
Absolutely. And that's sort of the pre-visualization for what you then go the third step, which is to actually shoot it in real life. So perhaps in one of the videos that you'll see the students were in the headset, creating the ideas, creating the visuals. Then they would shoot it so that the memories are stored on the hippocampus, and it becomes not just something you read about or something you heard, but it's something that you did, like driving to grandmother's house, right? Once you do it, you know how to do it again. So you do it, so you create it, you do it in VR, and then you do it in real life, and you know exactly where the camera goes and exactly where the actors go and where the lights should be and all that. So then it's just a question of executing something that you have storyboards to and you have the visuals to, and now you're just making it. So, for example, those Chinese films, we shot 13 of them in 2 days, and all of them were picked up by the Olympics.
So that's incredibly efficient. It's incredibly efficient.
Yes.
The other thing I'm noticing as just sort of someone who enjoys watching films, there's a big shift, I think, once the films are in virtual reality, where the director's role changes. I want you to tell me a little bit about that. So the way we've been watching films for years, the director puts in focus or out of focus where he or she wants your eye to go, or wants the character, to be present. When we're in VR for films, it's like choose your own adventure, right? The viewer decides, I want to look over here. This is more interesting to me than this part. Might even walk over to another part of the room. How does that change directing and storytelling?
It makes it harder, but it also makes it more interesting. So now, instead of the director just being able to tell you, look at this purple bottle, right? The director has to have the purple bottle do something that creates motion, and our eyes are drawn to motion from way back in our cave person days, because something that was moving towards us might eat us. Right?
Yeah, that's right. So it is a shift. The other thing I find interesting is this ability to create empathy in virtual reality when it is so immersive and you can feel empathy in certain situations. There are short films in Syrian refugee camps, or the well-known film Traveling While Black, where it's first-person perspective. Talk to me about that. This ability to really create empathy.
Well, the idea behind storytelling is always to create empathy with the character. So when you're watching, I don't know, Star Wars, your empathy goes towards Luke Skywalker because he's the embattled poor little farmer who's out to fight the big bad guy, right? So that's the nature of all storytelling. In terms of the empathy that you feel, it's a lot different when you're in the room with the character, right? So in Traveling While Back, it's not like, oh, I'm watching someone who's having those experiences and my heart goes out to them. No, when you're in the experience yourself, your heart goes out to yourself.
Powerful. It's so powerful. And I look forward to seeing how this continues to progress and our next generation of filmmakers who have these new toys to play with. Frank, thank you so much for sharing with us and for being with me today.
Well, thank you. And I hope I created some empathy as well, Lisa.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. And thank you to all of you who were watching with us. Please join us again for GatherVerse News Unscripted tomorrow. Raphael Timmons will be your host. I hope you'll be here for him at noon Pacific time, right in the same place. That's it for me for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.